It's the second weekend of the QuickFit British Touring Car Championship. Rounds 4, 5 and 6 take us to Kent, here in the United Kingdom, and we are at Brands Hatch in the Indy configuration. 1.21 miles, first race here back in 1958, qualifying that record set last year by Colin Turkington of 47.539. Well, the championship is looking incredibly close as well. Dan Camish leads the way on 48 points. Tom Ingram has 40 as well after the opening weekend. 2 wins for Camish and only 1 win as well for Tom Chilton. He lines up 4th as well on 30 points. The season really is changing quite dramatically. Hello everybody, welcome to what is a very wet Brands Hatch for the Indy configuration as well. Josh is going to be trackside for us as well. Omi is going to be around in the pit lane for this session, just sort of giving advice on the sessions. Hi Omi, thanks for staying with us here. What are you hoping for in this session?
Well, hoping for an exciting one. Does look a bit wet there as well, and it does look a bit wet for me outside as well when I look outside, so I'm hoping for an exciting one, and yeah, well, we might be seeing a bit of rain for Formula 1. I mean, I've seen more chances of it raining tomorrow now from what I've seen, but it's gonna be, but let's hope this is exciting.
Session's going to start at past. Let's get a word from Harvey and David Addison.
About that in a little while as well.
We've also got a legacy of Donington, a 3-place grid drop for Dan Rowbottom, so wherever he ends up, add 3 places. Of course, inevitably on a short lap like this, traffic management is going to be absolutely key. Doesn't matter what your capability is, if you get stuck in traffic, you're going to be really in trouble. So the first part is just to make sure, really, that you get into, if you can, that top 10. It really is wide open, this qualifying session. It's going to be absolutely fascinating once more. And amongst the drivers that are well worth keeping an eye to, it's another local driver in a sense. He's from Essex, not too far away. Is Bobby Thompson, of course, driving for Team Hard with the Cupra. And a little while ago, Louise Goodman spoke to Bobby T.
You've got a brand new car this season, a new engineer in the hugely experienced Barry Plowman, and that smile on your face, I get the feeling you're quite happy with life at the moment.
Yes, very. Yeah, bringing Barry in, 30 years plus of experience, he seems to know what he's doing, which is fantastic. And yeah, we got to the first round. You know, he joined late because it was late process with the car, so we couldn't make any changes or do, you know, go down the route he wanted. We've had a 2-week break. We've come into this weekend. You know, the boys have worked well with him, and it all seems to be going well.
Well, just tell us how well, because you were, what, P6 in FP1, P3 and FP2, but it's the feeling you're getting from this car that you're really liking, isn't it? Just tell us what those changes have done for you.
The biggest thing for me is traction at the moment. The traction difference from what I knew before is night and day. I can somehow feel you know, when I spoke to other drivers, maybe in some manufacturer cars, that what they're feeling, and yeah, it's opened my eyes, and I'm really happy. Yet to been able to try the entry of the corner yet, just because of the weather we're having. But I'm sure when it dries out tomorrow, we'll be able to really get a good feel of how much we can attack the corner on the way in.
So what are your thoughts heading into qualifying? Because this is your home circuit, a circuit you know really well, a circuit that you got your first ever podium at this time last year. So it feels to me like the stars are lined up nicely without putting too much pressure on you.
Yeah, thank you. Let's get in that top 10 first. Yeah, I know I'm pretty confident we can be well in the top 5, but let's get in that top 10 so we can get involved in the shootout. Hopefully we get in the top 10 quite healthily, so we don't have to eat away at these sets of tyres we've got. So once we get in the top 10, we've got a couple of goes at it. That's the goal. If not, we're going to chuck all sets of tyres to get in that top 10.
What's this weather going to do, not just for you, but for everybody? I mean, it's proper chucking it down out there right now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you only have a small window on this new tyre to get the most out of it. So I think it's going to be a 3-lap window, something like that. Some guys might be able to go 4 laps with it, but you're going to see a lot of people in and out of the pits just keep going and chucking new fronts at the car.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Cheers.
Green flag waved. Qualifying is underway. This our first qualifying session of the season.
Yeah, away we go at a very, very wet Brands Hatch circuit as well. But that's the good news, because it means it's level for everyone, and we only have 30 minutes here. So this 30-minute session is going to set the grid. This is the hybrid then, per use. Camish can use 1 second of hybrid per lap, Ingram 3, Hill 5, Chilton 7, Morgan 9, Rowbottom and Turkington can use 11. Everybody else from 8th down in the championship can use 15 seconds of it, which is minimum deployment extra. Will be at 71 miles an hour as well. Omi, I know you don't follow the touring cars that much, but do you like the touring cars? Is it an exciting championship that you like to follow every now and then, or do you always have it on the TV screens?
I haven't really even seen much of it, so but it does seem exciting, so I'll definitely be tuning in more. And especially with this new feature, it kind of forces me to join the commentary box and watch.
Yes, it does. Yeah, so the new feature where anybody can just hop in the comms box. Right, fingers crossed this is going to work, because our new systems, our new lead has arrived in the commentary box, which hopefully means that when I plug it in, I'm going to have my timing monitor back in operation. So if you'll lose the tracker for a second, please, 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 I'm hoping it's going to work, because I want my monitor. I have my monitor, and I have my timings back. Fantastic, as they come through as well. So timings are back, systems are running. We are all set here for the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship on the Indy circuit. First lap times then are coming across. Get in touch with us using the hashtag JB Motorsports on YouTube. At JB Motorsports YT is our Twitter handle. You can also, of course, use the YouTube chat to get in touch with us as the action continues on into turn 1. It is very, very wet out there, as up into we see the 14 taking it as well, with Pencherson as well coming through. And you can also get in touch with the hashtag BTCC as well. So Pearson, Taylor Smith, Gamble, Doble, Collard all started to take lap times up there as well. So short lap here. Unfortunately, the lap record is not going to be adjusted this weekend, which is a shame, but understandable considering these wet weathers. Usually we have this at the last round of the weekend. So first lap times are going to be the bankers, then we'll see to start them pushing, but with wet tyres you don't have to go that slow. You can push harder throughout as well. A few cars coming in the pit lane. Here's Jake Hill running in 9th position as things currently stand as well. Pearson sets up early target then in this session. 55.944. Chilton goes through. Cook's had his lap time deleted, however, for track limits, I've been told. Hill's up to the line then as well in his BMW Laser Tools Racing. Sutton's gone 3rd. Now Rowbottom 4th, Jelly to 13th, and across the line, Hill goes up into 4th position. Oh, and off goes, that's the 16. And is that a suspension problem at the back? Can't quite tell at this moment in time as they swing back through. It's just a bit of dirt on the tyres there as well. Cook top 55.591. Yeah, and that is just a big slide for Aidan Moffat in the Honda out of Graham Hill Bend as well. Let's have a look at them with the first lap with Tim Harvey and David Addison as well.
Momentum and impetus and inertia of the car is obviously going downhill, so it's that much harder to stop the car, and there's also a lot of water that runs across the track there.
Right, Tom Chilton through. Josh Cook goes quickest then, so he lost 1 lap, but he's gained pole position on his next one, or provisional pole position. Now Ash Sutton goes fastest on a 55.471. Tom Chilton paddles his way around Druids, but you can see just how horrible the circuit is. So banker laps possibly to be set, because the danger is the road gets wetter and wetter, and therefore slower as the session goes through. Jake Hill you're on board with now, he's 9th quickest.
Yeah, the drivers actually... between conditions.
Not helpful at all.
You've got aquaplaning.
And he's gone quicker again in the first sector. Stays out, only 2 sectors on this. He comes up towards the timing line to try to go 1-2, so he's now 4/10 quick.
Watching Ash Sutton round.
Okay, so we've got lots of our timing systems at the moment, and that's why you're seeing us all go higgledy-piggledy, because some system has decided that it doesn't want to play ball with us, and has gone wrong. There we go. So that's the system you're hearing.
A stoppage to...
Here we're going to have a red flag. Has the red flag come out? We can't
so
see.
can anybody. Red flag is
Red flag, session stopped. So I don't know why, because I can't see the TV pictures, but we have a red flag. Session is suspended. So let's cross over. The audio's going to have it. Let's listen.
Off the road.
We've got a Toyota off the road. Until we see, let's cross over to the audio.
Be any damage to the car because he managed to stop before he got to the barriers there. That's further up the gravel trap, up Halewood Hill. He's sort of rolling it back down the hill now, and the Toyota, he'll get back on the track, he'll get back to the pits, and everything should be fine. Just shows how treacherous it is out there, though. 3, 4, 5 cars having big moments, but most of them getting away with it. Nick, I'm afraid, did not get away with that one, and is therefore buried in the gravel trap. So weaving the car around up Druids is Rory Butcher as he tries to get the gravel out of the underneath of the car of the Toyota Corolla, so he'll get that cleared up when he goes back into the pit lane shortly. So Sutton quickest by 0.479 seconds. It's a pretty immense gap, that, isn't it? And he is ahead of Josh Cook in second, third Colin Turkington, fourth Ricky Collard, fifth Ronan Pearson, sixth. Let's get a replay on the screens of steering sliding wide Nick Halstead into the gravel trap. Sixth is Tom Chilton, seventh Dan Camish, eighth George Gamble, ninth Dan Rowbottom, 10th Jake Hill, 11th going well again is Andrew Watson, 12th is Mikey Doble. There's a full spin around 360 for Rory Butcher on the way out of Paddock Hill and up Druids. He avoided the barrier, I think, just about. So Doble's 12th, Aaron Taylor-Smith is 13th, Adam Moffat is 14th, Stephen Jelly 15th, Adam Morgan 16th, Jade Edwards 17th, Will Powell 18th, and then Nick Halstead 19th. Tom Ingram only 20th at the moment.
Aidan Moffat's car looks a bit grassy as well. He's just had tyres changed, but a bit of grass in the front.
Yeah, I think he was the one at Graham Hill that must have had the moment. I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a bit grassy all over, actually. Yep.
So, got a few that need to get going in this session. Tom Ingram is 19th at the moment.
That noise in the background is an engine cooler in the front of Bobby Thompson's car. I'm not vain enough to have a hairdryer on the go.
I don't even own one, Al, so I won't worry about it. For obvious reasons.
It would be a pointless purchase, wouldn't it, really?
Pretty much, yeah.
It is useful to have in your overnight bag for touring car weekends, because very often I've dried my feet with it when I get back to the hotel. Hairdryer. Really good idea.
Never thought about it.
Well, you don't need to.
I don't need that, Al, because I don't get away in the commentary box.
Beautifully air-conditioned commentary box.
Yeah, with a rider of grapes, champagne up here.
I think we'll have to review these commentary positions at the end of this year.
What, job swap?
Yeah, no, I couldn't do what you do.
Okay.
I don't have enough words. I'd run out about 3 o'clock.
Okay, well, stay dry. Try and stay warm, Al. It's not pleasant, is it?
It's not possible. So,
Okay.
so I'm now wet. So, I'm going to be wet for the rest of the afternoon. So, once I get to that stage, I think all the teams rather feel the same way. Once it's happened and you're going to be wet for the rest of the day, that's it, really.
My tip is to always wear shorts when it's this wet, because it's less to get wet. That's my thought.
Never wear shorts.
No.
Not an option. Not with these legs.
Don't wear jeans. They're the worst thing you wear.
Always wear jeans.
Heavy. Oh dear.
Style over comfort.
The bow tie's a bit too much, though, Alan. I don't think you should be wearing that, really. And the cravat is just silly, really.
You laugh. When we started commentary, I always used to wear, for podium duties, and my friend Tony Coles, who's marshalling today, will verify this, always wear a shirt, blazer and tie when I was doing podiums. Always.
Really?
When I started commentary. Yep. 30 years ago. Just standing in front of Nick Hamilton's car. His car is very sensibly in the garage, staying nice and dry. Everybody else just in front of their garages, respectively.
So we're waiting for Rory Butcher to set a lap. He hasn't set a lap time yet, nor has Bobby Thompson. And he was going well, wasn't he, earlier?
I said at the start of this that Rory Butcher could be on for pole, didn't I?
He did.
Yeah.
He'll love you for that.
Well,
He'll be really delighted that he said that.
I can guarantee he didn't hear, so I had no effect on it. But yeah, that was a bit awkward. But really wet conditions out there now.
We get the benefit of the ITV pictures up here in the box.
Oh, well, we're streaming on YouTube, aren't we?
Streaming on YouTube there, which Nick Halstead has been involved in setting that up, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. And he has assured himself quite a lot of airtime so far this afternoon as the car is recovered.
Looking after the sponsors, you see.
Exactly that.
ITVX on the side of the car there, which is involved. He's a tech, he's tech genius, isn't he, Nick Halstead?
He is. He invented, he gave a fascinating interview at Donington Park. He invented the retweet button.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty game-changing addition to Twitter. And, of course, appears now on various social media platforms. So, yeah, to be able to retweet something, that's down to Nick and his team.
So I was going to say, on the pictures, we've got a driver-facing onboard camera on Dan Camish, and Dan looks about as chilled out as you could be, or he was zoning in on the lap, but eyes half shut, sitting there waiting to go, all looking pretty chilled out, really.
He's one of the drivers that does the whole into the zone thing.
Yeah.
So when he's in the car, I know not to talk to him. There are a few moments before he gets into the car that I don't talk to him as well. He's one of those drivers. I think some drivers go into a sort of form of meditation, a green flag in pit lane. Andy Prio told me that his career totally changed once he got into meditating and visualising the start of the race, visualising the lap. All of those kind of things are aids to some drivers, not to others, but to some.
No, exactly. Just having those little reference points where you're going to brake, where you're going to turn in, what you're going to do. Have a plan when you go into it, and they're about to unleash that because they're all going back out. Nick Hamilton, is star of Donington Park, has got one of the onboard cameras as well, so he heading out on circuit. But you got Rory Butcher, Bobby Thompson, Dan Lloyd, Jack Buttel and Dexter Patterson haven't yet set a lap time. And you've got Tom Ingram lingering at the moment back in 19th place. I'm sure he won't be there for long, but it's just a reminder that you need to try and get some laps in early, because if you keep getting red.
Yeah, if we do keep getting red flags, it's going to cause the problem. Okay, we fixed the issue under the red flag. Very timely red flag there as well. It was the HDMI cable that we share the pictures with. Just decided to give up the ghost. Halstead then has caused the red flag, and he will have his fastest lap time deleted from him as well. The session restarts then in a very, very wet part of the circuit. Omi, I hope, has still been watching, because we've now rejoined, and hopefully, Omi, everything looks to not be working. Hang on a minute, fingers crossed. Okay, Omi, that looks like we've got that working again, finally. However, the timing screens still aren't great, so I apologise for that. Was it Halstead who caused the red flag? I heard it was. I'll wait for Omi to get back in and realise we're back. There we see now the number one of Tom Ingram. Yeah, Omi, was it Halstead who caused the red flag?
Yeah, it was. There was a Toyota, so just getting beached. And there's actually contact with another car. I just can't remember who it was. But the other one managed to get out.
So all drama then in this session so far. Sutton's in the pit lane, as I'm seeing on our timing screens up here in the comms box. So we'll keep an eye on that factor in as well, with 21 minutes to go of this session. There's not actually that long remaining, so they've really got to sort of get out there, get a lap time on ASAP, and realise that they've got delta times to focus on, times to figure out as well, and hopefully no one's going to screw it up, and we'll get a nice controlled run in the championship. As the action now rumbles on, and that is Turkington running off. Turkington off the track at Graham Hill Bend as well. So even Colin in the BMW is finding the difficult zones out there on the circuit and can't seem to zoom it back in. So we will keep our eyes peeled on that focus as well. Let's hear from Tim Harvey.
In the Cupra. So Sutton, Cook, Thompson, Turkington after his grassy moment. Collard, Ingram 6th now.
Back on board with Jake Hill. He's coming up to finish a lap. He set a personal best in the first sector, so this could move Hill up a bit more. It doesn't. He stays 8th.
Right, the next improver was Aaron Taylor-Smith to go 12th. Bobby Thompson on the hybrid, the blue light flashes to show that he's using the extra power, coming up toward the line, personal best in sector 1, and stays third. Lost a little bit of time in the second sector, but third is a very, very good effort indeed in that car, and it's sideways at paddock like so many others, but it's third on merit at the moment. It's a very, very good effort indeed.
It's a very good effort. He's really enjoying life in that car this year, isn't he? And giving a lot of credit to Barry Plowman, the former director of 30 years of engineering cars at Dynamics. There's not much he doesn't know about how to set these cars up. As going off there is Dan Camish, I think. Oh, it's Pollard.
So Dan Camish, second fastest, as he has now done a 55.523. He's still 4/10 down on teammate Ash Sutton, who is the fastest. Nick Hamilton has been an improver, and he's 25th. Andrew Watson will be riding with, and he is 18th fastest in the car store with Power Max Racing Vauxhall Astra. So at the moment he's outside that magic top 10, and we have got still 19 minutes and change on the clock, so there's plenty of time to go. Shuffle. Who is on the bubble? Well, Rory Butcher is 10th, so his first couple of proper laps have got him into the top 10. But can he stay there is the next question. Other improvements, giving you Dan Camish. Josh Cook third, Bobby Thompson fourth, but he was looking good in the second sector of the last lap. That's Camish heading up to the line. That's Nick Hamilton heading off the road.
And Hamilton's off. Yep, Hamilton's had a spin. Is that going to cause another red flag, though? That's the question. And it's down at... Oh, and another one coming in. That's going to be huge if Hamilton can't get out of the way. It's going to be Morgan hitting into Hamilton. And another red flag. Aquaplaning like crazy, coming into the braking zone. Morgan sideways, getting on the accelerator, losing it on the curb. And Hamilton motionless in the gravel. Everybody saw that coming. Hamilton's okay. Morgan is too. Red flag again. I mean, that was terrifying. It just came out of it. We knew it was coming, but that was a car crash in slow motion.
Yeah, exactly what happens in the rain. Nothing you can do. Okay, so when the car was going sideways, there was nothing that Morgan could do, so he slided his way into Hamilton, so absolutely nothing he could do, but very unfortunate, as here's a replay of Hamilton, first of all, losing it. So most of these are pretty similar, to be honest.
Morgan hits the same puddle. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nasty whack.
I think Hamilton would have tried to get back in.
Yeah.
But Morgan came and lost it as well. So then just went sliding his way.
Here's Hamilton then. This is on board with him. In towards turn 1. Everything's going fine, but he's going to hit the puddle. And the back's going to step out on him. And it's exactly what happened to Morgan as well. Just like hits the puddle, loses it round, can't save it. Comes off the throttle on the steering wheel. And Morgan's going to... This is going to be terrifying for Hamilton because he's going to see Morgan coming. And Morgan hits the same puddle. Hamilton's trying to get out. He sees it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And here comes the 720 spinning. Morgan. Bang. Red flag out again then. That's a horrible crash. Morgan's out the car. Hamilton's going to give a thumbs up, but he'll require a little bit of assistance. But that was horrible, I mean. Red flag, rightly so.
Yeah. And obviously, as it is in the rain, we're gonna have a very even though the clock stops, we're gonna have a very disruptive session where the drivers need to get the laps in, because well, we already saw two cars collide earlier on. We've seen it again, but well, even though the clock does stop, it's very disruptive, and you need to get your laps in crucially when you can. And I won't be surprised if we see more of this happening, because very easy to lose it, especially in the rain here.
Indeed, so red flag's out. It'll take a while to get it restarted. And for the first time in 4 weeks, I have my beautiful timing screen back via a new cable. And it looks beautiful. Brilliant. It's brighter too, actually, this lead. So at least it was definitely the other one that was broken. As we get it adjusted, just move everything up now. So Sutton, 55-1-1-2. Camish, Cook, Thompson. Let's head over to ITV. And we'll be back shortly.
Just meeting.
Hopefully the damage not too bad. 18 minutes left still on the clock, so actually plenty of time once they resume. But no one beat Sutton's time in that little melee of laps. Teammate Camish jumped up to second, which he'll be pleased about. Remember, he hasn't got he's got the least amount of hybrid use, so he'll be pleased with that lap, albeit it's 4/10 slower than Sutton's.
Right, so let's just remind you why we've got this red flag. This was part one, which was Nick Hamilton having a spin, no damage done, kept it out of the gravel as well, and then he waits for a gap in the traffic to try and rotate the car and accelerate away. And while he waits and waits and waits, here comes Adam Morgan. The back just breaks away. Morgan goes around like a top, and boom.
And once the car started spinning, it's almost like its spinning inertia speeded it up. But yeah, very unfortunate for both of them.
Adam Morgan loses his best lap time for effectively causing this red flag because it was his contact. While we have the red flag, let's catch up with other incidents and other drivers. 9th currently in the times, Rory Butcher. He's with Louise.
Rory, currently sitting 9th in the standings, but as we've seen numerous incidents at Paddock Hill Bend, you had a bit of a moment there. What's the track like there? It's obviously really slippy.
Yeah, the track is really, really bad. Just standing water or streams of water running across, and it kind of just catches you off guard. So I've had a couple of moments at Paddock. We're going to bolt on a better set of rear tyres, hoping to cut through that standing water, because at the moment we're just aquaplaning everywhere.
Is there anything as a driver you can do at that point? I mean, or is it kind of purely in the lap of the gods as to how much water happens to be coming across the track when you're going through it?
Yeah, of course you can rein it in with your entry speed. So that's the lap that I did there. I had to kind of really bring it back. It's just yeah, we're pushing, but we're going to try and find, like I say, a bit more grip from some better tyres. So let's see. Here we go.
Okay, I'll let you get back to your engineers.
So Rich Benton, who is Rory Butcher's engineer, will be talking to him, getting ready for the resumption of this session. It's a very bitty session, as we've been saying, with these 2 red flags, and it could well be that there are more stoppages between now and the end of Q1. We'll wait and see, but if people are having moments and the gravel ensnares them, then there is no option but to stop the session. So they're the Speedworks team at Toyota Gazoo Racing UK. Go to work. 3-car team this year, new engines in the cars, and Ricky Collard is the fastest of the Toyota trio. He is 6th fastest.
Yeah, one thing the driver can do is he can try and get behind a group of cars who will just cut a little path through the standing water, and he can go through almost on those tram rails, if you like, a bit like when you go on the motorway and you can, in deep water, if a car or a lorry goes past, you can see the slightly drier part to drive on. So if a canny driver maybe can get behind a few cars and use them to clear a bit of water so that he has less to go through at those crucial points. But it's a little bit of pot luck, but it's certainly something a driver could be thinking about to help find a slightly drier path through the running water.
Improvers just before that red flag were Rory Butcher and also Dan Rowbottom, who is 13th plus 3 because of his grid drop, and Aidan Moffat, who we saw on the grass right at the very start of the session.
Nice to see Josh Cook up there. We've been waiting for something from him and that team. They didn't really deliver. They had all the potential, didn't really deliver so much up at Donington, but he's at the sharp end of the grid now, albeit a bit like Dan Camish, 4 to 5 tenths away from that time that Sutton did. I don't think Sutton is going to need to go out again, that's for sure.
But plenty others will, and the man on the bubble is this man, Ronan Pearson. He is 10th fastest, and the margin between him and his teammate Tom Chilton is 59 thousandths of a second. So that is effectively it's 60 thousandths that Chilton needs to find to go ahead rather than to tie with him. But that's how fine the margins are right now between being in the top 10 and out of it. And Ronan Pearson himself is only 2 thousandths slower than Rory Butcher. So you've got your 4 tenths, as Tim says, between Sutton and anybody else, Dan Camish. So that's a big margin, but it's much, much tighter further down the order.
Yeah, what they were saying about putting better tyres, Rory was saying about putting better tyres on the back of the car. Normally on a front-wheel drive car, you don't worry too much about the rear tyres in the wet. But obviously, because it's all about getting traction, rotation and braking from the front tyres on a front-wheel drive car. But clearly we've reached a stage where the track is so wet, they need really good tyres, front and rear. Just to cut through those swathes of standing water.
Right, so Nick Hamilton's car has been retrieved. The other one is Adam Morgan's, which is there on the flatbed, but yet to leave Paddock Hill Bend. So the recovery crew attend to that, and the marshals sweep water and gravel away from the road.
Maybe not for the last time in this session.
Indeed, I was about to say that. Yeah, it might be a fool's errand, that. But you have to make the track as safe as possible, so any standing water that can be swept away, and the gravel as well, which might cause a car to slide unnecessarily, does have to be attended to. Nick Halstead's car's on its way back to the pit lane as well. There's a general clean-up operation going on here.
Well, they might need the truck again, so...
That's true, yes. Yes. Practical thinking.
Empty them all off and get the trucks ready.
Oh, yeah,
Not seen so many track limits infringements. Obviously, in the wet, the painted curbs are very slippery on the exits of corners, so drivers tend to try and stay off them a little bit more than they do in the dry. So less track limit infringements at the moment. I think Lou has Nick Hamilton in the pits for a reaction to that incident.
I have indeed, Tim. And Nick, I've just been speaking to Rory Butcher about those streams of water coming across the track at Paddock Hill Bend, which I'm guessing is what caught you up. But you were fine. You were on your way out of there until Adam Morgan came along, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I always blame myself. I shouldn't have been there in the first place, but it was just a mistake. You can see it's treacherous out there, quite slippery conditions. So yeah, unfortunate that Adam lost it as well, and the impact it's had on my car is a shame, but it is what it is.
Could you? I presume you could see him coming. Could you? You could thinking, no. Oh my goodness, yes.
I could see him coming, but I didn't know whether he was going to miss me or not. Yeah, it looked like he was coming more towards me. I was trying to move, but I didn't know what to do because he was spinning, and then yeah, he ended up hitting my front, which is a shame. So. It is what it is.
How much of a bang was it? How much damage is there? I mean, obviously you can't do anything else in this session, but how much work for the boys to fix it?
I haven't looked at it, but I think it's quite minimal. I mean, there's a little bit of an impact, but the boys will be able to fix it. It should be fine for tomorrow.
Cheers, Nick. See you out there tomorrow.
Cheers.
So he will have to start 25th, Nicholas Hamilton, Adam Morgan 23rd on the grid. So certainly Adam is a man that's going to be on a charge in that opening race. So it's going to be a really jumbled grid. We were predicting that, given that we have this two-part qualifying. But what we hadn't necessarily factored in was that you have people having these incidents, losing lap times for causing red flags, not being able to go back out, and therefore starting further back than would normally be the case.
But you've got to expect it in conditions like this. You know, as Nick said, everybody is pushing to the limit. It's qualifying at the end of the day. This is when you have to try your absolute hardest. There's no holding back like you might do waiting for an opportunity in a race situation. You've got to be pushing. The only man who hasn't got to do anything is actually Ash Sutton, who can sit in the pits and do nothing. There's his teammate Dan Camish, probably thinking long and hard whether he needs to go out, but with that gap, so many cars so close to him, a big gap to first 4 tenths, but behind him, as you said, David, another 4 tenths puts you down to 10th.
So the road is clear, green flag is imminent, and the teams are getting set to bring the cars back. Now,
yep. So a green flag, away we go then in qualifying number 1. Restarted. So against what we were told earlier on today, it looks as though that this qualifying is going to be a 2-part session, which means we get our normal 30 minutes of action, then we'll have a 5-minute break, and then we'll have a 10-minute shootout. So we've still got 18 minutes plus 15. That's going to be this is a very long. We're still 35 minutes into the session. We should have ended by now, but they've changed the format. So top 10 go through to the top 10 shootout of qualifying 2. That will be Sutton, Camish, Cook, Thompson, Turkington, Collard, Ingram, Hill, Butcher and Pearson. But the problem is, the top 10, the track's getting wetter. And Sutton knows that. He's refueling in the pit lane. Pearson's going back out as well. But the problem is, the track's wetter now than when we stopped the session. So we're going to have to be waiting for a long time to see this come through and into fruition as they circulate back. OBS now giving me a bit of a signal saying something's trying to load up on the screen. What a session. And we've got our data monitor back, which I suppose is one good thing to keep an eye on up here in the box. It means that I can actually see what's happening though, which is a little bit of a relief. Sutton 55.112 though, that's a good second time this thing stands. 4/10 clear Camish. Omi, I don't think in these conditions I would feel really sorry for Josh tomorrow, who's going to be in a very muddy area of the track, and if it is wet, it's just like when he was sent on media day.
Yeah, it's going to be very bad for him out there, Josh, so let's hope he survives, but we're currently hoping that the drivers survive. And how long till we get a red flag again? Because it kind of feels like that we're moments away once again from a red flag, with how easy it is to make a mistake in these wet conditions, and especially with gravel everywhere, so the drivers could easily get beached.
Tell you one thing, if this goes over for another hour and 15 by some miracle, then we have to start thinking about the Formula 1 practice 3 session and having to have a feel for that.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I'm thinking it too. So we're going to have to be a bit quick on here, aren't we? With that, I'll get everything saved going forward. Rowbottom's up to 11th as well, 55.993. So he's just outside the cut-off zone by a couple of thousandths. Sutton as well all on. So the lap times are starting to come in. Hill goes second, up 6 places on a 55.508. So great time there from Hill. And Rowbottom up 2, as I said. Jelly's up 7. Jelly's up now into a 56.084. More drivers coming across the line. There's Dan Lloyd, the 1, 2, 3. I think that's a start a lap time, as no one's jumping up the timing screens. Sutton's still in the pit lane as we ride with the other BMW now. I believe this is Colin Turkington coming, if I see my driver tracker correctly. I think it is, yeah. Coming through into the back half of the track. It's visibly a lot worse now up there on the circuit. Quite surprised we haven't actually had a change into... Red flag! Red flag! Session stopped again! What's caused this one? Well, I'm not seeing anything on race control for an accident, but we have got a red flag. Is it... Well, it can't be track conditions are too bad. That can't be possible. That's why! Car in the wall! And it's the 70 of Will Powell, who's gone in heavy and Druids. We barely get another 3 minutes before our 3rd red flag of this qualifying session. Let's see how he did it. He's just going to go straight on. Aquaplane's off into Druids, hard in the wall. And this will be yet another one as well, Omi. This is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, and well, and once he was in there, nothing he could do. Fast speed into the barriers, and yeah, and as I said, moments away from another red flag, and I feel like this will be continuous. So, well, let's hope we finish before the F1 practice, or then we'll be running around everywhere.
Yep. Megan's laptop will take you to the end of qualifying, as well with the radio commentators, and we will move over to covering Formula 1 if that happens. But this is getting a little bit alarming. Right, race control, red flag again, after more lap times getting disallowed. It all started for Powell at the exit of Paddock Hill, and he's just going to go straight on when he tries to brake. Here he goes, ready, turns in, just goes straight, brakes, locks up, aquaplane's off in the wall. Red flag again then for the 3rd time in this session. We can only get a few minutes in. We're not even halfway. We've had 3 red flags, and that barrier is going to require repairing. So let's head back over then to ITV, because there's not much to talk about. They've got more interview access.
Q2 to go.
Yeah.
It's a much interrupted session, this.
Yeah, all the drivers, or most of the drivers, left foot brake. Camish has taken his gloves off, so I think he knows he's okay. So they're left foot braking and just using the no clutch to change down. But of course, once you lock the front wheels on a front wheel drive car, you've locked the engine. The engine is stalled. So even if you come off the brake, it doesn't necessarily give you any more, get the engine going and slow you down anymore. So it's a difficult one. You can't just hit the clutch and keep the engine running, because you've got your left foot on the brake.
That's Jake Hill, who is now 3rd in the times. He was another improver on his last completed lap. Let's have a look at that lap tip.
Great to go on board with this. We'll see what lines he takes and how he approaches it across the start-finish line. He's got a clear track in front of him. Now, does he take a high, wide line through paddock? middle of the road. It just misses the apex, the middle of the road, which straightens out the exit. You hear the car wheel spinning a little bit at the bottom of the hill on that slippery bit. Coming into Druids, he takes a conventional line, gets the car rotated, then drives it off the corner using that rear wheel drive traction. Ground to Graham Hill, he doesn't lock up. Uses again the conventional line, but gets good drive off the corner. No use of the curbs at all because they're painted and slippery. Into 30s, just staying off the curb because it upsets the car. Then braking for clearways. His line is round the outside. Look, he goes all the way around the outside, which means you get on the throttle earlier. Your minimum speed is higher, and you drive off the corner really well. So a really nice, neat lap from Jake Hill.
And that was 55.508 seconds that put him up to third in the times. So as you can see from the timing tower, it's Sutton, Camish, Hill, Cook, Thompson, Turkington, Rowbottom, Collard, Ingram, Butcher, the ones who will progress. Currently, Will Powell, a very frustrated driver, has to sit out the remainder of the session. He's okay, but missing out on the track time. And the One Motorsport with Starline Racing Honda Civic needing to be retrieved. Busy weekend for that team because they've got a British GT programme operating this weekend at Silverstone. So Danny Buxton, the team manager, in touring car mode today and GT mode tomorrow. So, as soon as the road is clear, we'll have another go at this. Nick Hamilton's car has been brought back. Will Powell's car is being retrieved. The Team Hard engineers will have a look at the Cupra to see what they need to do. Will Powell's car doesn't look too bad from that angle, at least.
So we got front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. So we're pretty even spread at the top.
Yeah, it's 4-2, isn't it, within the top six? 4 front-wheel drive, 2 rear-wheel drive. There's the damage now you can see a little bit more clearly on the front of the Honda. So Will Powell surveys the damage, and 26th he was up until the incident that's put him out of the session. The car now goes behind the barrier, so we shouldn't be too far off getting things underway. Ash Sutton still sitting pretty at the top of the times. Presumably, Louise, he's just changing things on his iPod and just relaxing for the moment.
No, actually, he's on his tablet rather than his iPod, watching the session. You enjoying sitting here watching this qualifying session? Because I can't say I blame you with those conditions out there.
I mean, it's a bit of a first for me. I've only ever done this kind of once, but not to this extreme. But yeah, we managed to put a time on the board, which was obviously good enough to be where we are at the minute. I think everyone's slowly chipping away and getting there now, so we're just going to sit tight. We might have to go out at the end of this session just to make sure we're safe.
This is all about saving tyres, isn't it? So you've got 2 new sets of tyres for the final shootout.
Yeah, it's that factor, and obviously risk versus reward. If we're out circulating and we have an off, a red flag or anything like that, we could potentially lose our lap. So yeah, we're sitting here for as long as we can potentially. That's the aim.
What is the time when you think no, I'm going to have to go out there again? How close people coming to you?
Well, realistically, we've got to be looking at, obviously we're aiming to be in the top 10 of shootout, so we've got to be looking at around 8th place, that sort of ballpark, and at the minute they're sort of 6-7 tenths away, so I think we're okay, unless suddenly the heavens, unless the sun comes out and the heavens disappear, then I think we're all right.
Well, enjoy the rest of the show on your tablet. I'll leave you to it.
Cheers, always.
So we'll let him get back to it. Ash Sutton remains the fastest then, as the road is now clear and a green flag can't be that far away, Tim.
No, it can't. And interesting, you see the 2 sector times came up on the graphic there while Ash was talking. Well, he had the fastest first sector and the fastest second sector, but crucially, he did it on the same lap. He didn't do it on different laps. He did it on the same lap. So the absolute perfect ideal time is the time that Sutton did, 55.1.
Right, recovery vehicles have done. There's confirmation of that perfect lap time, a 55.112. And that is 0.208 quicker than Dan Camish's best lap. Right, engines are fired up, so the teams are told to expect the green flag imminently. And then we'll see what the next excitement is going to be as the field tries to battle its way into that top 10. Remember, Ronan Pearson is the one that's now just missed out. He is 2 thousandths away from the top 10. He needs to find at least 3 thousandths to get himself in. Green flag waved. Another 2 thousandths gained would only equal Rory Butcher's time, and you give the grid position or the time higher place to the driver that set it first, so you need to overhaul it.
Well, I think we did about 3.5 minutes on the last session. I seem to remember saying there's 18 minutes to go, and now there's 15 minutes. I think that last session was only about 3 or 4 minutes, and 15 minutes is exactly half the session time anyway.
Yes, we have now nudged halfway.
Yeah.
We've got there, everybody. See what has what's in store for us in the remainder of this session. Then, as we've been saying, there are plenty that still need to go for a proper lap time, a better lap time. But the danger is, as Ash Sutton was suggesting, that you make a mistake and off you go. And if you're on the course of the red flag, then you lose your best lap time. So other cars here are about to be pushed backward. Andrew Watson, who's not raced on this configuration of Brands Hatch since about 2014, good to rejoin.
Yeah, and as you said, David, even if you're not hoping to get in that top 10, you're still racing for your grid position.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is your grid position from 10th on down to 27th, so you're still fighting for that.
Right, let's try this again then for the 4th time today. I've put myself on some water as well because I think we might need that. However, you must remember to unmute yourself as well. The track is just getting worse, Omi, as well. The amount of level of water is just ridiculous now. It's just hammering it down, basically.
Yeah, getting worse, which increases the chances of crashes. I think I can hear myself. A bit of echo there. Let's hope that's sorted. Yeah. So, well, hopefully we can survive this time. 4th time we're trying, but Josh, how long do you think till a red flag?
I reckon about 45 to 50 seconds on our usual rate of yellows to reds. It's getting quite ridiculous right now. My phone's on 38% as well, so that's... We haven't even got to Formula 1 today. Today's just been so busy. Right, Tingram to the top. 54.813. He sets the new fastest lap in this qualifying session, but nearly loses it coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. Dan Camish starts a time, but only goes the fastest for 3rd. Turkington now takes out up to 55.125. Collard goes up into 6th position as well. I've just received a message that my PlayStation will enter rest power mode in 10 minutes. That's not good for me either. So Collard then goes P6, as I said, on the board. So it's all getting a bit too chaotic as it comes through, but no sign of the red flag just yet. That hopefully we won't have, and we just get through as well to keep the procedures running. As Thompson goes to 6th. Let's have a word with ITV.
This is a slightly drier spell, or a less wet spell, which is enabling almost everybody to improve in some form.
Yeah, Cook's up to 4th. So Camish, who was 2nd, is now 5th.
And into the top 10 has now gone George Gamble, so he is 10th. George Gamble is in by 10th, and that's up.
Osborne's off! Osborne's crashed! Is this going to cause a red flag? Oh, don't tell me it is. So far we're green. So far it hasn't changed anything. The green flags are still out. They haven't flashed red on our timing screens. It's down. He's hit the tyre barrier though, Omi. And he's going through the gravel now as well, coming through. And I think this might red flag it, you know. He's out the gravel, but...
Yeah.
It's that barrier.
Yeah, we're gonna wait and see what they decide. But, well, okay, well, we already knew that red flags are kind of expected. Like we kind of knew it, didn't we? Like every minute. But let's see.
Oh, he's running
happened
backwards. Oh, Osborne hit the back. He hit it backwards. So the rear of the car is broken, not the front. And he hit across the gravel as well. Oh, nasty hit. And that tyre barrier is badly damaged now. I'm surprised they haven't red flagged it to repair, but I presume they're worried about the schedule. But it's safety overcomes schedule, I'm afraid. I'm surprised they haven't stopped the session there.
Yeah, barrier needs to be sorted. So I'm very surprised they haven't. Safety was always first in motorsport.
Race control are doing their nut right now as well to see. Maybe I can remote control my PlayStation so I can have access. It's something I'm just trying, so it doesn't, switch off. Remote play. I've got 8 minutes to sort it out, as it keeps telling me at the top of my screen, but it's kicked off the timing tower as well. 10 minutes to go in this first part of the session. Right, I've now activated remote play, so hopefully it switches off the PS5. We'll enter rest mode in 8 minutes due to power saving setting. Ingram, Sutton, Thompson, Turkington and Butcher using the attack now as well. As Camish goes second on a 54, no, Turkington 54.868. Camish down into third position, so times are changing. Turkington sliding ever so slightly. Just thought it's not going to let me do that, is it? Turning that off. It's not letting me do it. Taylor Smith to 13th place as well on the board. ITV?
With Tony Carosa, his engineer, advising him, is back on track. This is Jake Hill's view, coming then out of Druids. Off the road has got Colin Turkington for the second time in the session at Graham Hill Bend. Colin Turkington gets back on track. He's second fastest, but he's had another scare. This is Jake Hill, sawing away at the wheel.
And the problem is that the conditions aren't the same every lap. So what feels right one lap can feel completely different the next lap. So Turkington's probably braked in the same place, but look, exactly the same. He just hasn't got the car slowed down enough just because of a fraction more water than the last lap.
Josh Cook was another improver last time to go 7th. Jake Hill to the pit lane.
And yeah, that's Hill into the pit lane. That's unusual to see him in there. So Ingram, Turkington, Camish, Sutton in as well, as we wait to see if times are going to change. Taylor Smith still in 11th place. He's not adjusting as quickly as I thought he might. Cook to 6th, 55.176. 8 minutes to go in the session. I'm going to look forward, Omi, to the break between free practice 3 and qualifying. I'm going to need it at this rate. 2-hour break, lovely. It's been a mad couple of hours.
Yep, with Formula E as well.
Butcher!
And now
Sorry, Omi. Butcher getting
it.
on the gravel and the exit of Clearways. Just keeps it in. They are pushing the limits. Anyway, I'll let you continue because I interrupted.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, let's just hope they'll keep it in a straight line now. But it's very difficult in these conditions. But yeah, it's been very busy, especially with Formula E as well going on before this, and then obviously with so many delays. And and we don't even know what qualifying is going to be like for F1. Well, let's hope it's interesting. But let's hope it's not like red flags after red flags.
Yeah, I've got some donuts for tomorrow just in case, so we should be okay. We've got loads of cakes out there. Oh, hello. That is a BMW driver coming out of the pit lane. That is Laser Tools Racing of the 24 Jake Hill coming out on the track and gets going. Sutton to second with a 54.844, fastest first sector, 32.421. So Turkington in the pit still as well. As they swing back, Sutton on a time faster, but he's only 31 thousandths off of Ingram actually, so that's not bad. Top 3 separated by 55 thousandths of a second. Camish goes 4th. Oh, and Butcher goes for a rally cross in the Toyota Panic Hill and doesn't beat it. That was close.
Yeah. As we're gonna get a replay, does he just lose it like we've seen some of the other drivers through the corner? He just goes, yeah, it doesn't make the corner at all. Into the gravel, lucky not to beat it, kept it going, and he's going to continue.
Yeah, so he'll be back on. Thompson, Bobby Thompson. Wow, up into 4th place. Thompson flying in the independent. Top manufacturer as well. 54.976 in these mixed conditions. Here he is. And a very good job there for the top 4 there. So here we go then for the BMW of Hill coming out of the last corner. He's up actually in towards Druid, so he's already started his lap time. Into Druids, tight hairpin, controls the accelerator at the exit. So the drivers have got to use hybrid power as well, so that's an extra squirt of energy that they don't need in these slippy parts of the track. That's why we're seeing them making so many mistakes. And there is puddles and rivers beginning to form down at Graham Hill Bend. With less than 6 minutes to go then of the first part of qualifying, believe it or not. We've been here nearly an hour and we've only done the first part. We've still got a 10-minute shootout to do. Sutton goes top, 54.758. But Bobby Thompson, the big star, he is 4th at the moment. ITV?
It's ahead of Tom Ingram now. That doesn't mean pole position, it just means that he's fastest in this part of qualifying. It's what the top 10 drivers do in Q2 that will count for the grid positions.
So
From 11 down.
another comparison of sector times. He did it again on the same lap. Fastest first sector, fastest second. Both the ideal and the actual fastest lap of 54.5. So I'm pretty sure he can park up now.
Well, Turkington has gone fastest on a 54.530. So Colin Turkington's at the top of the times. Sutton should be safe in that top 10, you're right, but he's no longer the quickest. And all of this still leaves Dan Rowbottom vulnerable. He is 10th and he's back on track. This is Hill.
Well, Hill should be able to do it, because remember, Turkington had that little off. He came in the pits exactly the same time as Hill. They both went out at the same time, so what can Hill do? This lap, it's an out lap, so I don't know what the...
Third fastest, Jake Hill. Third fastest. He improved in sector 1, he improves in sector 2. Jake Hill goes third. Gets a bit sideways at paddock, but he's in, and that means that Robo is out. Dan Rowbottom misses the cut for the moment by 14 thousandths. Aaron Taylor-Smith is ahead of him, so ATS is now the man on the bubble.
Yeah, and Aaron Taylor-Smith's going to be pushing like crazy in the next few minutes, because he does not, I repeat, does not want to lose out on any time, as Lloyd now goes up into 7th place. He's moved up 6 places at 54.942. We've adjusted the timing tower to the correct graphics now after they had a bit of a failure in practice 2 in this first half of qualifying. So graphics now showing exactly what we want, which is best lap time, the gap, the difference in the laps they've completed out there as well. So timing tower, thumbs up at the moment. Turkington, Sutton, Hill, Camish at the moment flying through here. And we're now watching Rowbottom in the 32 in the Napa Ford, pushing hard. He's down in 14th place at the moment. Cook goes 7th, 54.897. Rowbottom crosses the line. Not using that much hybrid. Doesn't improve on time. Only use 5 seconds if he's available 11 to boost. He has time to find here. And the final 3 minutes of Brands Hatch. Indy qualifying number 1 for the British Touring Car Championship. Sutton up to the line. Can he beat Turkington? Cross it he goes. He does. Sutton 19 thousandths quicker than Colin Turkington. 54.511.
In town, he's back to the top in Q1.
No, that boy's got pace, hasn't he? Whenever the conditions have changed, he's been able to go out and be quickest.
Dan Rowbottom down to 16th, not improving in the first sector.
Turkington wide.
Turkington, who is still second fastest, but it's been a really messy session for Colin. He's had some really good laps, he's had some not so good laps, but still he is there fighting for the top time in Q1, and of course very much part of the battle going into the second part of qualifying, and we are 2 minutes and a bit away from the checkered flag. Right, Tom Chilton is up to 10th, Jack Butel 11th, which is a really good effort. Tom Chilton then 10th on a 55.001.
No one faster on that last lap, so have they had the last roll of
Gravel,
the
gravel, gravel! That's the 11!
but gets it back on the track.
Andrew Watson going wide.
At the moment.
Well, there are 1 or 2 improvements in sectors coming, like Dexter Patterson, who is down in 14th. Let's have another look at the moment coming out of paddock here. Almost picturesque. He was wrong at the top of the hill. Toboggans his way down the hill.
Dexter Patterson on a personal best. Taylor Smith on a personal best.
Yeah, Patterson's lap.
More gravel being brought onto the circuit in the last 90 seconds then of this qualifying session. That was weird, didn't show the OBS stinger. Okay. As they come through. Andrew Watson coming in now to take over. Looks to be okay. Omi, we might actually get through this one without any problems. Saying that. Cars slowly coming into the lane.
Yeah, I'm actually a bit surprised that we haven't got any red flags, and we've kind of calmed down a bit now. We've finally calmed down, and we're finally getting some track. We're finally getting the track running we want, and we might be able to finish this before F1 practice.
Got an hour, so fingers crossed. Gamble 7th. Well, it's taken an hour to do a 30-minute session. That's how bad it's been. So surely 20 minutes to do a 10. It shouldn't be that long. But remember the rule: if the red flag comes out inside the final 5 minutes, the clock resets to 5. So even with 35 seconds to go, so we have to make sure we hit 0 in case there's another red flag, and it resets to 5 minutes. It's the same rule as well in the qualifying 2 format coming up with a 10-minute shootout. Camish goes third. So Sutton, Turkington, Camish, Hill, Ingram, Thompson, Cook, Lloyd, Pearson and Chilton, the top 10. Currently going through with 10 seconds left of the first part of qualifying here after 1 hour of waiting here for the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. Sliding to the wall. Hill will be the first to take the checkered flag. Does he go top? Answer... yes! 54.397. Hill to the top. To top Q1. Turkington's in the pit lane. So is Ingram and Thompson and Chilton. Butel's out too. As is Doble and Osborne. We already knew Morgan, Hamilton, Powell and Holstead are out. Taylor Smith misses out. Butcher improves to 5th. Chilton is out as Cook goes through into 8th. Chilton is out of qualifying. Anyone else on surprises? I don't think so. Flags coming through. And I think that's all they wrote for the first part of this session here in qualifying number 1. Yep, everyone else going slow. Everyone on the track has taken the flag. So it is Hill, Sutton, Turkington, Camish, Butcher, Ingram, Thompson, Cook, Lloyd and Pearson, the top 10 going through. Well, only 1 hour to complete that session. That took a long time.
Yeah, it did take a long time, but we got there in the end. Now let's see how long will it take to complete the final part of qualifying. So yeah, I'm already getting my F1 stuff set up for all of the timings, etc. So, see, I'm doing this at the same time, but I'm also getting the getting everything ready and set up.
Ditto. I'm just getting my timing screen set up now. Oh, how I've missed my timing screen. I will admit that on my monitor, because it's the letters and the numbers are now so big. That's what I like to see. I've had to have them minimised for the past 3 weekends. Now I can actually see who's where and when on the timing page, which is what I needed to see. Okay, let's go down to ITV for the end of the first session.
Dan Camish, Rory Butcher, Tom Ingram, Bobby Thompson, Josh Cook, Dan Lloyd and Ronan Pearson.
Yeah, and positions from 11th on down set, albeit remember that Rowbottom in 16th has to take a three-place grid penalty.
He does indeed, which is a legacy of a yellow flag infringement in race 3 at Donington. Whew, right, time to catch breath, and in Jake Hill's case, time to have a quick drink. And then we'll get set for Q2. So let's have a look then at the order, provisionally at the end of Q1, where Jake Hill is the fastest from Ash Sutton, the margin 0.114 of a second. Colin Turkington a further 19 thousandths back to be third. Dan Camish 4th ahead of Rory Butcher, and then Tom Ingram 6th. The best of the independent runners, Bobby Thompson 7th ahead of independents Josh Cook and Dan Lloyd, and it's Ronan Pearson into the top 10 for the first time. After that, this is the qualifying order. Tom Chilton 11th ahead of Aaron Taylor-Smith. Jack Butel 13th from Ricky Collard and Dexter Patterson. Dan Rowbottom 16th in the times plus his grid drop ahead of George Gamble. Then Stephen Jelly, Jade Edwards 19th and Andrew Watson in 20th. 21st, Aidan Moffat ahead of Mikey Doble. Sam Osborne 23rd after his accident. Adam Morgan 24th after his accident. 25th, Nicholas Hamilton after his accident. Will Powell 26th after his off, and Nick Halstead's trip into the gravel puts him 27th.
And hats off to Ronan Pearson. You know, remember this is only his second ever BTCC meeting, and he's in very difficult circumstances. He's stuck that in the top 10. You know, ahead of race winner Tom Chilton and teammate. He's done a really good job.
There he is. So the Scottish driver with the Saltire on the roof of the car. You could argue revelling in Knockhill-like conditions, but we'll see how he fares in Q2. He will be no lower than 10th, one hopes, unless there's a indiscretion lurking in the system for something, which we hope there isn't. So he's got himself into Q2, so a great job done by Ronan Pearson. So there's a rather frustrated Dan Rowbottom, no doubt, who was way down the order, plus the grid drop, and he's got to find some consolation in something somehow, Louise.
Yeah, I don't think he's thanking me for coming to him for this one, but I mean, Dan, If Donington qualifying was a day to remember, I think this is probably a day to forget, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't really know why, which is even worse. Yeah, it just didn't work for us then. I don't know. You know, we were okay initially. I think the track got a little bit better. Maybe we missed a window with a set of tyres, but P16 is not really to write home about. And I think we've got a 3-place grid penalty to rub insult to injury as well. So P19, that'd be right. I'll have to fight through.
Well, it'll be fun to watch. But were you just not getting what you wanted from the car, or was it just not coming together for you behind the wheel?
A bit of both. We've struggled a bit with balance today. You know, obviously I've got Dan and Ash to compare to. There's just little bits everywhere, but I just can't quite extract what I need from the front tyre. Mainly traction, so we need to have a proper look. You know, all three cars are pretty close, but there are subtle differences between driving styles. So maybe it's something I need to adapt to, maybe not. But, you know, we'll work at it. It's fine. It's all right.
Maybe the sun will shine tomorrow.
I think it will. Old Charlie got it wrong today, didn't he? Hey, ordered the wrong weather.
We'll see you out there tomorrow. Thanks, Dan.
So Dan Rowbottom, yes, does have work to do, but of course we will have the hybrid allocation based on championship position going into the first race, and then race results for races 2 and 3. 2-minute board is shown to the teams that are ready then to go out into Q2. Now, on the evidence of what we've seen in Q1, who's going to be fastest then at the end of the next frantic 10 minutes?
Oh, you've got to say it's got to be Sutton or Hill, hasn't it? You know, or Turkington.
Right, keep going.
Or Camish,
yeah,
or Cook.
Yeah. Any more fences on which you'd like to sit?
I'd say the two favourites are Sutton and Hill, but we'll just have to see. They were the ones that were consistently able to get back up there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Interesting now, look, the sector times were different. They were actually Jake Hill in the first sector and Colin Turkington in the second, making the ideal perfect lap of 54.3.
So Jake Hill gets set to go. Of course, this is about being fast. This is about setting the time. I know that sounds obvious, but Q1, allowing for all the interruptions, was in a sense about trying to be in that top 10. Therefore, how many runs will they have in this, and does that differ in a wet session from a dry?
Well, it does in the sense they haven't got to cross tyres as much, so that means they can be out. If you remember, normally in the dry, the 10-minute session gives quite an advantage to the rear-wheel drive cars because they haven't got cross tyres, but that won't be such a factor again now. So it all depends on who's got how many sets of brand new mounted up wet tyres that they can put on, but basically you can have 2 runs in this session.
So the best time that we had in Q1, Jake Hill's 54.397 has got to be the target. Dan Camish then gets set. Remember, he's got very, very limited hybrid use, just 1 second a lap. Does that actually do very much, if anything, for him?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, because he can't deploy it till he's doing over 84 miles an hour, and 1 second will really not give you any advantage. So he's effectively running with nothing. So that was a good performance.
So out they come, green flag shown, and the top 10 shootout is underway. Tom Ingram will lead them out on track, and there behind is Dan Camish, then Ash Sutton, then Colin Turkington, then Jake Hill, then Rory Butcher, then Josh Cook, and Bobby Thompson and Dan Lloyd. Really impressive effort from Team Hard to get 2 cars in there, 2
Very
Cupras.
impressive.
Good job
nice
done.
mix of cars in this top 10, actually.
More front-wheel drive than rear, of course, but then they have the strength in numbers anyway in the entry.
Exactly.
So there was another local team, isn't it, Team Hard? Dan Lloyd, the Yorkshireman, but he's out on track now. Clock ticks on, and we are almost at the end of the first minute.
Already, yeah. Ronan Pearson may only have 1 set of tyres left, so he's probably just going to wait for the other cars to plough a little furrow through the rain that's settled again on the track and get it ideal for him before he goes out.
Right, so Tom Ingram heads onto a flying lap now as he breaks the beam and goes through, and as he does so, of course, sets the target second sector, but nobody else has completed it yet, so we'll see whether anybody else is going faster when they come up towards the start of their first flying lap. Turkington and Hill, as you can see, using hybrid, then Josh Cook uses the hybrid, and Rory Butcher back into the pit lane. So the Toyota down the pit road. Only one of the 3 Corollas to get into the top 10. Right, Ingram is going to be the benchmark here. He does the target in sector 1 at 33.0, and a lap time around a 54.3 would be comparable to what Jake Hill did to top Q1. So in this top 10 showdown, here they come. This is Tom Ingram up towards the line, and the first flying lap of Q2. He's used all the hybrid on the lap, goes over the timing line of 55.957 as a start-up lap.
Yeah, Adrian, I was just looking to see what Butcher's tyre strategy was, and his tyre strategy wasn't to diagonally cross the tyres, which is what you normally do in the dry, but it was to put the left rear on the left front, and the left front on the left rear. So by working the left front on the out lap, he's put that hot tyre on the left rear to give him more stability when he goes through paddock. We saw the Toyota being a bit twitchy there before, so he wants the warmest tyre on that left rear.
Bobby Thompson then goes through paddock, now the fastest on a 54.828. Jake Hill second, and 7 minutes of qualifying now remain.
And this is really where the time starts to come to play. Are we going to see anyone faster than what we went? Thompson is a 54.828. Hill 54.828 at the moment as well. So times are starting to come to play. What about you, Omi? What do you reckon we're going to see?
Well, I think I'm going for a Hill pole, actually.
Hill
That's
pole?
what I think. Yeah.
I'll go with that. I'll stick with you on that. I think that could happen. Camish top, Turkington second, Thompson second, Hill third, Cook, Lloyd, Ingram, Turkington, Sutton, Butcher. Haven't seen anything yet from everybody else as a few spinners come into fruition, but nothing too bad out there. Ingram's flying in the two sectors. If he can find something to grab hold of in towards the braking zone with 6 minutes to go of this session. Ingram to the line. Using all 3 seconds at the exit of the last corner. Does he improve from 6th to 5th only? 54.999. Butcher and Pearson are the only two not to take any times in 9th and 10th so far. Hill crossing the line. Starts his time. And Hill top. 54.589. Sutton goes third. 40 thousandths quicker as Turkington now goes third. You're right, Omi. Hill pole.
Yep, for now at least, but, well, I don't often get predictions right, so, is it time for a change?
To touring cars, probably. Hop over, go over here. Look at that, it's so wet now coming through Graham Hill. Even Hill's struggling for acceleration coming out. I wonder if we'll see lap times improving. Turkington set the fastest second sector, but on this lap time alone, nobody's improving in the first 2 sectors. So the rain is coming down a bit heavier. With 5 minutes to go, provisional pole position is going the way of Hill. At least another 3 runs left if they want it, as they come into the braking zone now. Turkington top, 54.568. 21 thousandths quicker than Hill, 61 thousandths quicker than Camish. 600ths of a second separate the top 3 in this qualifying session is just insanity. In a wet Brands Hatch Indy, remember. That's how much we're flying. Last year's pole sitter trying to do it again and claw back a championship. Pearson 10th, 55.437 on the board. 4 minutes left on the clock. In towards the last couple of corners. Turkington taking a bit much time there. One more run, I would say. Can Hill still take it, Omi, or are you going to go thinking somebody else now? Because so many cars coming into the pits.
I'm still sticking with Hill.
Sutton goes 4th, 54.638. Turkington starts a push lap. He's staying out there. He's on a long fuel. Let's see if that will work out. He's going to not have enough time to come in and change tyres at this rate. Out lap, push lap. Again, back up. No, this is it then. Everyone will start coming out on the track for some outs. Look at that, best sector time. Sector 1 is Dan Camish, 32.308. Sector 2 is Ash Sutton, 22.044. Best lap time should be a 54.351. Turkington's lap time is a 54.568. So mathematically, the track can go faster. Sutton will know this. The team would have told him over the radio. They see the same TV pictures we do up here in the commentary box. He'll be informed of that, he'll be told of that, and he'll be told to push. Sutton across the line now in the Napa Ford in the 1:16. Starts what could be his last push lap. Into Paddock Hill Bend. Rear wheel comes off. As soon as it hits contact with the wet, damp part of the track, it wants to slide. He must control the slide, hold it through, and now 2 minutes 40 to go. Hill's coming up through Paddock Hill into Druids. It's not too bad actually. It was okay this morning, not a lot of rain. It was a bit of sunshine actually. Rain's coming over day, and of course we're in Kent, which is 30 minutes away from London, and that's where the coronation has been today of King Charles and Queen Camilla. And that is why we've got the rain as well, because it was raining there and it's raining here. Across the line then for Hill. Does he go faster? Only second still. He's going to have to find more push time. Camish now with hybrid power. Sutton starts another run. At least 2 to go, Omi. It's getting a bit tense now. People are starting to get a bit desperate.
Yeah, so also with how close the timings are, I think all the drivers are going to be needing to find time, so they're all going to be pushing to the absolute max, and we might see some mistakes with how fast the drivers are going to be pushing, because it all comes down now to these to these last few laps. So it's going to be very exciting now with how close it is. But I'm still thinking Hill.
Lloyd goes 9th, and that's a 55.206. Camish fighting for control of the Napa Ford as he comes out the last 2 corners. Third at the moment with the fastest first sector time. Is the track quicker for Darren Camish as he approaches the line? Turkington's time to beat. Up to the line, Dan Camish goes second. 54.586. 18 thousandths of a second slower than Turkington. It's just insane, Omi. We can have 4. Sutton's moved within a 10th. 700ths off.
This is super tight. It's anyone's. It's all going to come down to these fine margins the drivers will need to gain. So this is going to be very tight now to see who's going to be taking pole.
47 seconds. Anyone who starts a lap time now will complete it. Hill will get another one in, I think. If you're in the last sector, you will get another one. If you're in the first half, you're not. So that is Turkington. Might be his last run. So the pole time's about to be decided here. Through we go. Taking the Napa Ford. Here comes Sutton. He is 4th at the moment, using all of his attack mode, power boost, hybrid energy. Sutton stays 4th. He'll get one more run in it though. He'll continue on. He won't just stop. Checkered flag is out. First one to meet it will be the 24 of Jake Hill. Is Hill going to be on pole position for this race? No, only second, 54.576. He's 6 thousandths of a second slower than Turkington. Insanity.
So
Turkington's on a better lap time too, but so's Dan Camish. Thompson goes 6th, Lloyd goes 9th. Camish could take pole in the other Napa Ford of the 3 out there. Pushing, here is Dan, to the line. Turkington. He hasn't taken the flag yet. He's got another push lap, but he's not doing too bad in the first sector. Camish across the line, takes the checkered flag and takes pole by 2 tenths of a second. My God. 54.297. Sutton stays 4th. Thompson pits, Ingram pits, Cook and Turkington have slowed down. It is Dan Camish who has taken it, and Josh Cook has spun. Coming out of the last 2 corners, Turkington boxes. Dan Camish had to wait for it over an hour and 20 minutes, but he is on pole position for round 4 of the Quid Fit British Touring Car Championship, and an extra bonus point for him. What a session, Omi. That was a long time coming.
Yeah, long session, but we got there right in the end, and Camish just getting the very fast lap in at the end that he needed. And we obviously saw some mistakes by other drivers, but he didn't make any, and he was able to take it right to the top, and by good margin as well.
So it's the top 10: Camish, Turkington, Hill, Sutton, Butcher, Thompson, Ingram, Cook, Lloyd and Pearson. And he was only a fraction off as well, I think by a tenth and a half, yeah. And he's on what would have been the net best time with the combined sector times. Well, it is Indy pole win for Dan Camish. Omi, I know you'll be watching tomorrow. You'll be in box, or you might be around because Josh will be in as well, trackside again, as he's not here for quali. But you're looking forward now to touring cars. Well, we've got a good race day coming tomorrow as well. Touring cars, Formula One, both could be in wet weather. We're in for a good day.
Yep. I'll probably still be in the voice call, so yeah, you can just pass over whenever you need something for any kind of opinions. But yeah, really looking forward to this, and watch my first qualifying. So I think I'll watch my first race as well for the British touring cars.
Sounds good. Thanks for being in the box, Omen. Sticking around. Josh will be trackside at Brands Hatch tomorrow, which means we get video coverage of the circuit as well. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks to you, Omi. And we will see you soon as well. From us all here. Bye-bye for now.